Hello IT Pros and welcome back to my IT workshop. This is Alvendril, and in this video, guess what? We're going to do another Python script. This time we're going to automate how to find a MAC address in a network. Okay, so in other words, let's say you're new in a company, or you want to know and you have many switches. It can work for many switches, for 1, for 2, for 10. We're going to use 1 for this one. As you know, as I mentioned in many of my other Python videos, I only have 2 switches and we're going to use 1 today. So for example, a few days ago I was working on a project where we had to find, well, it was a small project where we had to find to what port many cameras were connected. So I create a script to kind of do that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. As you can see here, the icons are a little bigger so you can see better what I type and what I do. So I have this open already. We're going to use one of my older scripts. I'm not going to explain everything because this is my channel, my IT workshop. If you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe to it. So I have done some videos in the past about automation with Python, and in this one I explain many things. On this one over here, automation using Python, SSH to a Cisco device. So I explain here about the NetMiko library. We're going to use that one here, and also how to install it, and the basics of the commands that we use. So I'm not going to explain that in this video. If you want to know about these videos or any other, you want to learn how to install NetMiko and all that, the link for the video is in this video description below. All right. Okay. So we're going to start. I'm going to copy some of the things in a few more minutes when we start scripting. So the other thing I want to show you that I have done also in my other videos is that this is my Cisco Switch. I'm connected to it using SSH. So so I can say show MAC address. Oh no, it's wrong. So show MAC address table interface gigabit 1023. So this is the interface. This is the MAC address we're going to look for. So this one is Aruba switch. No, it's not a switch. Aruba access point. So we have the MAC address here. Of course, since this is my lab, I know what is connected to the switch, which are not many things. For example, switch 47, if I remember correctly, is my my trunk port, so to another switch. So you can see that it's learning many other MAC addresses using this one. So, but for this video, we're going to focus on this MAC address. So, if you are doing the script, most likely you know the MAC address that you're looking for because you have located the device somewhere. Let's say it's a printer or something. So you know the MAC address, or maybe it's an access point, like in this case. And you have the MAC address, so you want to know where this MAC address is physically connected to what port in the 48 ports that a switch normally has. Okay, so you want to know that really quick instead of going device by device and typing this command, show MAC address table, interface, gigabit Ethernet, So we want to automate this, right? So that's what we are going to do today. So this is the MAC address, but the way I see the MAC address in the device itself, it's this format. Okay, so I check this website, and you have many ways to type a MAC address or to represent a MAC address. So I have these are a few over here. So you have the representation with no dots, with nothing, just the numbers and the letters. This one has a space every 2 digits. This one has a space every 4 digits. So there are many ways. This one has semicolons every 2, every 4, a dot every 2, and all that. So there are many ways that you can type, that you can represent and type a MAC address. So for this one, the MAC address is represented like this. So we're going to work with that as well. And as you can see here, in the Cisco device, the MAC address is represented like this with dots every 4 digits. So we have to be very careful in that, otherwise the script's not going to work. So we're going to start scripting. So I'm going to, what am I doing? So I'm going to start scripting. So I'm going to call the NetMiko library from NetMiko, import connect handler. handler, like that. Right? Connect handler, yeah, it's okay. So with this one, I'm calling the library, the NetMiko library, which allow us to connect to different devices. In this case, it's going to be a Cisco, but also it works for any other brand, all right? So I have this import. Then we are also going to import a library that we have used in the past, which is RE, that means regular expression, to find the actual MAC address. So we're going to start saying, so we need to tell this code or this script what we're looking for. So I'm going to create a variable called MAC needed. You can call it anything that you may like, but this is what I want to call it. We're going to input, and we're going to ask, enter the MAC address you are looking for. So here is going to ask the client, let's say us, to type what MAC address we're looking for. But then we're going to do something where I'm going to make all everything that we type in for this example. I'm going to make these dashes disappear. So in other words, it's going to look like this. Pow, 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 pow. It's going to look like this. So I'm going to remove this. What did I call this character? I don't remember the name. I'm going to remove it. So how do I do that? I'm going to do MAC needed is going to be equal to MAC needed. I'm going to use replace. And what do I want to replace? I want to replace that character by nothing. If I do this, it's going to have a space, and I don't want an extra space. I want it to be nothing, blank. Okay, but let's say you have another way to represent your MAC address. For example, like we have seen here, you have this, and you want to get rid of the column. So you would have to do here, instead of this one, you would have to type this. So you get the idea. Okay. So in this case, we want to represent this. Now, then the other reason, another possible problem is that it can be a lowercase or an uppercase. So for that, we want to do kind of the same. We're going to see everything that we type. We're going to make it lowercase, lower. So with this, everything we type is going to be turned into a lowercase. Okay, so in other words, if we type capital A, it's going to be turned into lowercase a. Okay. So we have that, and then we're going to make a list of switches. This one is going to be empty because we're going to populate it in a few more minutes. Like I said, for this video, we're going to use only one switch, but you can do it for as many switches as you may have. So then I'm going to go to number of switches. We're going to copy this over here. Number of switches is going to be, well, an input, and we're going to ask the client to type how many switches. How many switches for the search? Oh, I can't believe I did that way. How many switches for the search? So here we're going to type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100 switches. Like I said, in this case, it's going to be only one. So then we're going to make, maybe this step's not necessary, I'm just used to it. And we're going to do that this number that we're going to receive to be an integer, int. So this is going to be the variable. I'm going to copy it here. So number of switches after you receives the number, let's say 1, it's going to turn it into an integer. Maybe this part is not super important, but I'm just used to do it. Now we're going to go for a for. For switches in range, I'm going to explain this in a few more seconds. Int range 1 until the number of switches. So I'm going to copy this variable, and as you know, Python, and I have done this in my other videos, is that Python is going to always go from the number you tell it to start, in this case is 1, until one number before the last one. In this case is going to be 1. If you have 10, it's going to go until 9. So that's why I'm adding the number extra 1. So it's going to cover all of them. In this case, it's just 1. So it's not going to be much of a difference. But if you have, let's say, 5, if you type 5 here, which is the number of switches, you always have to add 1. Okay. So we have that, and I'm going to make this variable ask, and another input that is going to say enter the IP or host name, which is the IP or the host name of the switch. In my case, we're just going to use the IP address for the switch, all right? But you can use the host name as well. In my case, I don't have a DNS server, but so that's why we're going to use the IP. Enter the IP host name of the switch. In this case, and the number of switch. In this case, like I mentioned many times, we're only going to use one switch, but if you have many, it's going to be naming them. It's going to be telling you switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and so on. So I'm going to go to str because I have made that mistake many times in the past. Oh, here I made this switch. So this is just a variable, and we're going to copy paste this switches or switch plus, so it's going to look a little better. So until here is going to say how many switch, enter the MAC address. So we enter the MAC address, which, as you know, is going to be this one over here. That is going to be converted into this one and lowercase. In this case, it's lowercase anyway, but you get the point. If this one were to be A, it's going to be turned into lowercase a. And then it's going to ask us how many switches do you have. So I have 10 switches, 3 switches, and it's going to save that information. After that, it's going to ask you, okay, now that I know you are going to use, I don't know, let's say 3 switches. I want to enter the IP or the host name of every switch. Okay, so that's what we are doing right now. So then we are going to use this list that is empty, and we are going to add every IP address or host name that we receive. So append and ask. So list of switches, which is this one over here, which is empty at the moment. We are going to add whatever we are asking here. All right. So then we go to the, well, I don't know if this is the interesting part, but now we go to user. Well, let's make it capital. User input. Now it's going to ask us what's the username, and of course is the username for the switch. And we type that, and then I'm going to kind of copy this, and we're going to do password, and I'm going to copy it one more time. So we're going to change this to password, and we're going to ask what's the password. And then I have 2 passwords in the switch. One is for the SSH session, and the other is for the enable session, for the enable access. So you can make all the configurations you want. So this one is going to be called enable pass. So in this one, we're going to ask what's the enable password. Okay, so in most cases, well, not most cases, in many cases, you might have the same password for the SSH connection and the enable password. So you can only have one password. Okay, so in my case, I have 2, like I mentioned, so I need 2 variables. Then I'm going to do another for switch. For switches, by the way, why do I type it wrong? this one over here and this one over here are totally different because they are working in different forms. So you can use it the same, but it's not going to do actually the same. For switches, in list of switches, which is my variable here, what are we going to do? Now we're going to copy this other part from my other video. So this video over here is login to get info from multiple switches. So that video should be this one: retrieve configuration on multiple Cisco devices using Python. So the script that you see here is the one I have used there. So I'm just going to copy what I need because this part is the same when you want to connect, so it's not going to change. That's why I'm going to copy it. So we go here and we copy paste, but I believe I'm going to change the name for this one. So this one can be named anything, so I'm just going to call it device, like that, device. And for switches, in a list of switches, the device is going to be host, switches, username user, that's great, password is going to be pass, and enable password, which is secret, is enable password over here. For, I believe this has to be switch, number of switches, input how many switches for this search, number of switches, yeah, switch, like this. So that should be, no, I'm good. Switch is switch. Okay, so I'm good. I believe I had a mistake, but no, I don't have a mistake. So again, all this part, all what this means and all that, is explained in this video. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to explain it here. So a few seconds ago, I mentioned that if you only have one password for the SSH session and for the enable password, you can use the same over here. So it would be password and pass, the variable pass, and here pass again. But in this case, I have two passwords, so I have to use two variables, and it's going to be different. Now I have to change this like that and like that. Device, everything is looking great so far. All right, so what we have to do next is actually type the command. For port in range 1249, we're going to call a variable output, and this one is going to be equal to, so the command, as you know, to look for the MAC address in an interface on a Cisco switch is going to be this one: show MAC address table interface gigabit blah 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 blah. So this one, because my screen resolution is a little bigger, is showing up a little different. So maybe, oh, the session is lost. Okay, let's log in back again. So the password is academy45 exclamation. The enable is educate45 exclamation. So we're going to do show MAC address table interface gigabit 10, let's say 13. So this is the command, right? Why is typing it like that? All right, never mind. So we're going to copy all this, bam, and we're going to put it here. Paste interface and show MAC address table. Let me check if I'm doing that correctly. Show MAC address table. Okay, this is the one I want, exactly like it's showing up here. Okay, show MAC address table. So this is the command that we need, but we have to make a few changes over here. Now we have to use another netmiko command, which is going to be connect that send command. And inside of this, we're going to type what we want to send. In this case, it's going to be the Cisco command. Again, this part is explained better in the video I mentioned a few minutes ago. So show MAC address table. And as you know, the reason I'm putting 1 to 49 is because the switch I'm using is a Cisco, I don't remember exactly the model, 9600, I believe. I don't remember the exact model right now. But it has 52 ports, and the last 4 are fiber ports, so we are not using those. So I actually need 48. But like I said before, Python always goes down one number below the last one, so it should be 48, but it's not going to count 48, so I need 49. Okay, so output, connect that send command, show MAC address table, interface gigabit, blah blah blah. And now we make the change here. So here, because all of this is going to be the same, let me go to this port again, and I'm going to type show IP interface brief. So as you can see here, I'm going to make it bigger for a few seconds. As you can see here, all the interfaces are gigabit and start with 101. So that's why you need to know how this is, how the interfaces are represented in your switch. Okay, so the one that is not going to change is the gigabit 10. As you can see here, until the end, until 48, it's not changing, right? It's not changing at all. The part that is changing is 48, 47, 38, 35. So that's what's changing. So that's the role of this variable here. So what we are going to do is add port to add. But I know for sure that's going to give me an error if I run in that way, because it's going to tell me, and I have done this mistake in other videos, you cannot concatenate a number, an integer, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with a string. So we have to turn this variable into a string. So I'm going to do just that. So we have that, and then we're going to do a string. I'm going to make another variable, string needed. It's going to be, this is a variable, this is the string we're going to look for. So now we're going to use this this library, RE. So to this, like I mentioned, I have used this library in other videos. What this library allows you to do is to look for a pattern. Okay, so the MAC addresses have a pattern. For example, where is this guy? Over here. You can see that there is a pattern here. So I have this pattern. I don't really care about these numbers, but I know they are 2, right? So this is the pattern. Every 2 numbers or digits, we're going to have this. That's a pattern. If I go here, we can also see a pattern. So every 2 digits, I have a space, right? Every 2 digits, I have a column. Every 4 digits, I have a dot. So that's a pattern. So that's what this library allows us to do, which is called the library RE, or regular expression. So now we're going to go compile, and all that is part, these commands, RE compile, is part of the library. Okay. Now, the way it works is that you have to tell, art means for row, so we are telling, hey, we need to look for this specific pattern. So the way it works is www.www 4 times and another 4 times of the same, and I'm going to explain why. So we put this way, so we have only 3 here. It's going to give us an error. So we have 4. Why 4? Because if we go to the Cisco device and I run the command show MAC address table interface 47, let's say, I have these 3 MAC addresses, right? So you see a pattern here. Every 4 digits, or now every 4 numbers, every 4 characters, that's way better, you see a dot. every 4 a dot. So that's the pattern. So that's what I'm doing. And this specific pattern is for the Cisco switches. Maybe other manufacturers or many other Cisco switches or routers have another way to express the MAC addresses. Okay, so that's why I show you all this, to show you that there are different ways to represent the MAC addresses. And different manufacturers might do it differently. In this case, for this model, Cisco, that this is the way they do it. So you have to know that before doing the script. Otherwise, it might give you an error. Now, this is the pattern I need to look for. That's why for the regular expression library, this is the way it asks us to do it. So here, W means in the inside the compile library that every 4 digits or numbers, either way, digits or what I'm talking about, every 4 digits or characters, okay, can be 1 2 3 4 5, can be A B C D. So every 4 there's a dot, and there is another 4, and there is a dot, and there is another 4, and there is a dot. Okay, so we're looking for that pattern. Then this is another variable, and we're going to do, well, a string needed. I'm going to copy paste this string needed, that search, that's again, this is just a variable, and that search is a command from the RE library. Search. So what do we want to search? Where do we want to search it? So in the output, because everything that this command is generating is going to, the result is going to be saved here. So once we have for every port, the result is going to be saved here, and because of this library, is going to look for this pattern, the MAC address, here. Okay. So then we go. Now we're going to go to try, and we're going to do MAC. This is just a variable, mo group. And you might be asking, why mo group? Again, this part, it's how you get the value in the RE library. I know this is kind of confusing. When I learned it, it was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense, but that's just the way it works. Okay, so this is just a variable, mo, that group, and that's how we're going to get it. So once we have this, I save the result of what is looking for, which is a MAC address. This is the pattern. Is going to be saved in the MAC variable. So then the MAC variable, we're going to change it like we did here. We're going to use this replace. So in this case, we're going to go to MAC that replace, and instead of this one, this character is going to be dot. Why? Because that's what we have here. Now we have that, and then we're going to replace every dot by nothing. And then we want to do the same that we did here, that lower. So MAC is going to be equal to MAC that lower. So everything I receive from this one, as you can see, all of the letters are lowercase, but if they were capital, they're going to be turned into lower. So in this case might not be needed, but I'm just saying for general examples. So we have this, and then we make the question: if MAC is equal to MAC needed, what's going to happen? We're going to print output, and we are going to break. So after we find, let's say the MAC address we're looking for, or you're looking for, is in interface number 10. After that, you don't care about the rest. So the code, the script doesn't need to be running. So you code it there. You say, okay, I found what I need, break it. We don't need it anymore. And if this is not true, we're going to go to except, and we can print no MAC address found. and that's it. And at the end we can print completed. I forgot the quotes, and that's how you're done. So what am I doing here? I call the result of mo group, which is this one. It's going to look for this pattern in output. Then I'm going to save the result to this variable that's Mac, can be anything, and I'm going to, in Mac, I'm going to replace every dot by nothing. Then I'm going to turn what is inside of this Mac variable into lowercase. Then I'm going to compare this Mac address is the same as this one, as Mac needed, the one we type, the one we are looking for. Is it the same? And if it's the same, it's going to print this. So it's going to tell us what port this device is connected to in the switch. And if there is nothing, it's going to print no MAC address found. Okay, so that's the code. Let's see if it works. So run module is going to ask me to save it. Yes, there is an error. What's this? Network device. Oh, all right, I know what the mistake is. Since I copy it, it has to only be device, because in this script over here, this one is called network device, and I didn't change that, so that's why it's giving me the error. I'm going to change this, and that should be all. Run module, unintended, and indent does not match any other outline, outer orientation. Device, let's see, device enable. Why is giving me this error? Maybe because of this, because it's not indented correctly. Let's find out. Save, run module. Okay, looks like it's working now. So this is the one we are looking for. This is the MAC address. So I'm going to copy paste it. Come on. And I'm going to paste it. Boom. How many switches for this search? Only one. What's the IP or host name of the switch? So it's 192.168.1.110. So I'm going to make it a little smaller, even a little smaller. And I want to show you this. So ping 192.168.1.110. So this is the switch I'm connected to. So I'm going to show you again. SSH to this device, and this is my Cisco switch. And you can see here, it's asking me for the password. So that's the one. 192.168.1.110. So what's the username? Is like the name I use for this channel, Alvendrill, and the password is Academy45 ! I don't have any problem sharing my password because this is my lab switches, so I don't use them they are not connected to the internet or something. What's the enable password? So this one is educate45 ! Like I mentioned before, these two passwords in many cases, if you're in a company, most likely you are using a radio server, and these two passwords are going to be the same most of the times. Educate45. So what does it say? Username user is not defined, line 23. So what's going on here? User, enable, what's the name of the password? What should be the error here? Username is user, input, what's the username, password, enable password. I don't really see any error here. User is not defined. What do you mean by that? Host switch. Yes, this is correct. Switching list of switches. This is the one. 23. Oh, it doesn't show me the number. Switch, a user is not defined. Oh, of course. Why am I typing it like this? It has to be like this. Why did I put 2 dots? Maybe I confused with this one. Okay, that was the error. Run, we're going to save it again. and we have to type everything again. I hope there are no more errors. What's the MAC address you're looking for? This is the one. How many switches? 192.168.1.110. Username Alvendrill. What's the password? Academy 45 exclamation and educate 45 exclamation. So I hope I don't have more more errors. So let's wait. What does it say? Connect send, show MAC address server interface error name. Connect is not defined. Connect. Connect that send command. Connect. It's telling me that this one is giving an error. Why though? Search for port in range 1 to 49. Output. Connect that send that command. Show MAC address interface gigabit. Blah blah blah. A string port. Oh, string needed. I really don't know what is giving me that error. The string needed is going to be recompile. Output connect send command. Not sure why it's giving me. Oh, okay. Yes, my bad. It has to be device. It has to be the same variable. Since I copy from my other script, yeah, that has to be device. Okay, let's try it again. Run module, yes. So this is the MAC address, paste, and we have to type again. How many switches? 192.168.1.110. Username Alvendrill. What's the password? Academy 45 exclamation. Educate 45 exclamation. So let's see if there are more errors here. No MAC address found. So it's going port by port, checking if there is a match. So we should see it in port 23. So let's wait. No MAC address found, no MAC address found. And there is a MAC address, gigabit 1023. And this is the same MAC address. So we verify it here. Port, oh, I'm logged out. Academy 45 exclamation and educate 45 exclamation. So show MAC address. Show MAC address table interface gigabit 1023. So you can see that it found the correct MAC address is the same, but I don't like this. This doesn't make much sense to show, so we're going to delete this. Except print no MAC address found. I'm just going to type pass. So that means it's not going to type anything. It's not going to print anything. So we're going to do that again. So run module. What MAC address you're looking for? We're going to type paste the same. And enter how many switches? 192.168.1.110. Alvendrill. What's the password? Academy 45 exclamation and educate 45 exclamation. So let's see. It shouldn't print anything. It should only print when it finds the match. So let's wait until it reaches to interface 23 when it finds the match. So let's make it a little smaller so we can see it better. There it is. So you don't see anything printing, like no MAC found, no MAC found, and you only see the result, the MAC address when it finds the MAC address, when it finds the match. And like I mentioned before, so you can see the script is working. So it's going to look for the MAC address if it's in the switch. That's why if you have more switches, it can look in different, in many switches at the same, well, not at the same time, but it can look in many switches. So one thing that you can do is the user, you can change it here. You don't have to ask for the username. You can just type, for example, I could just type here Alvedril, and I can delete this because it knows who I am. But I don't think the password is a good idea to have it here, since it's showing that in clear text. So I always advise to just type the password every time. It's annoying, yes, but it's better that way. And the enabled password and the secret password, like I mentioned, can be the same, so that's not a problem at all. So maybe you are interested in one of those 2 videos now. You can do more things that shut down many Windows computers at the same time, or create an basic IP scanner. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other comment or questions, leave it in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.